All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at some cards coming out in OP-06. So, spoiler warning, we are going to be talking about some cards that are not coming out for probably like 4 months. I'm not trying to get anyone's hopes up, but at the same time, some really awesome cards have been spoiled, and we got to check them out. And we're going to look at, we're mainly going to be focusing this video on, like, this is not going to be one of my videos where I rate every card, because first of all the cards have not even been released yet. I like to do it all at one time. So whenever all of OP-06's cards have been released, then I will talk about the entire set color by color like I usually do. But this video in particular is going to be more about just, you know, ultimately going over Thriller Bark. Some of the cards we've seen, not even all of the Thriller Bark cards. I don't know if there's going to be more coming out, but just from what has been spoiled at the time of me recording this video, which is November 16th. So literally OP-05 is coming out in about half a month, but this is from OP-06. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into this, guys. And one more thing I want to talk about is I'm not going to talk much about Perona in this video. We're mainly going to be focusing on Gecko Moria. And ultimately, we're going to be focusing on the new direction that Black is going. It seems like, maybe it's not the new direction, but it seems like Black is finally getting its own, you know, how would you say it? Like its own identity, right? Because before it was like, okay, we're going to mess around with cost reduction. Yeah, they still have things that mess around with cost reduction. And then it was like, okay, well, maybe it's going to be like KOing based off that. But now that we're seeing a lot go on with that, where pretty much every every color has access to some form of removal. So it's like, okay, but so that's not even a unique quality of Black. But what is unique to Black is this trash interaction, the graveyard or trash can interaction, whatever you want to call this. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it now. So Gecko Moria is the first card we're going to look at. This is the leader card, 5,000 power, 5 life, mono black. Dawn ×1, when attacking, pay 2 and trash 1 card from your hand. Put the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash and play 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type character with a cost of 4 or less from the trash. Okay, so we're going to look at some cards that it can play, but this is potentially a very powerful interaction. And this is going to be very similar, how do I say this? This is very similar to the blue, the mono blue. I think it's from OP-02 or so, OP-01. Yeah, the blue Doflamingo leader from OP-01 that has pay 1 but attach 2 Dawn to your leader. So the blue Doflamingo is a little bit stronger than this as far as attacking goes. And remember, in a deck like Doflamingo, you're going to be stacking the top of your deck so that you get your card into play pretty much, probably like most of the time, right? If you're playing that deck correctly, you should be setting things up perfectly, unless you just get like an atrociously bad pool, which happens. But with Gecko Moria, you're not swinging as hard. You're only swinging for 6 versus 7, but you are getting a 4 or less card from your trash into play, not tapped. And remember, with the blue Doflamingo, that does happen. They come into play tapped. So this leader is potentially very powerful. We're going to look at some options that it has going up here. And one thing I want to mention is, you see how it says pay 2, trash 1, or discard 1 card from your hand right here? Well, in this, think about it like this. You're going to trash the 4 cost cards you want to play. You see what I'm saying? So that's not even really a, you know, a downside. That's not really a negative to this deck. And since this effect is pay 3, this will be a deck that is probably fine with going first. Like, it probably, like, you know, okay, everyone usually wants to go second, and there's probably not going to be a downside to going second, but this deck will perform completely fine going first and playing a 4 cost on turn 2, no matter what, whether it goes first or second, if it gets it in its trash. Okay, so let's keep going. Keep that in mind. So for Perona, I'm just going to go over this real quick. It doesn't have as much interaction with the trash, and that's why I'm not really going to focus too much on it right now. So it has activate main once per turn. Choose one of the following effects. Either rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, or up to one of your opponent's characters gets -1 cost during this turn. So I'm just going to say one problem I have with this card right away. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to do it. And again, I'm not going to rate this card just yet, but I'm just going to tell y'all, Sakazuki does this. Sakazuki has 2 effects, and he gets to use both of them. This is a once per turn, activate main, choose one of the following. So you're either going to get to rest a 4 or less, or do the -1 cost during this turn. So again, Sakazuki attacks to do the -1, but who cares, right? It's still getting -1 whether the attack hits or not. It doesn't matter. So there's the -1 for free. And then this card, yes, this is potentially more powerful than cycling a card, but I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. I'm not saying this is a bad leader. I do feel like it gets a little bit outclassed by Sakazuki, but we'll see what happens. Not all the cards have been released yet, so I'm not giving up hope on Perona yet, but I'm skeptical of this effect. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, so the very first card I want to talk about is Lola. This is a 4-cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter, Thriller Bark Pirates type character. So right away, this is what I'm thinking with Gecko Moria. If I go first, I'm going to, turn 1. We'll actually look at a card on turn 1. Don't worry, there's a very strong card on turn 1. But let's ignore that for now. So that was 1 Dawn. Turn 2. So even if you didn't get the perfect start with the card for turn 1 that I just talked about, you go turn 2, attach 1, swing 6, pay 2, and then trash this card from your hand. And then you're going to play that card from the trash because it is a cost 4 or less. Guys, that is potentially very strong. If you don't see that, I'm sorry, I can't help if you can't see how potentially powerful that is, because you swung for 6, now you're playing a 6k as well. So very, very strong. Let's keep going, guys. There's more cards to look at. Next up is a 2k counter. We have Perona, the 4-cost, 5,000 power character that is also a 2k counter and also has this effect. Now, it is situational, but on play, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, choose one of the following. Either A, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. That's just always nice, right? And then B, sticking true to the sub-theme or the sub-style, sub-type of the black identity here in the game of give up to one of your opponent's characters costs -3 for the turn. So again, that's basically become like a subtype in black in this in One Piece. And it looks like its main identity is going to probably become this trash interaction. We saw it with CP. It's even in Navy with the way that Navy cards trash to KO, brand new trashes cards to draw and draws a card potentially. Dressrosa, CP, and now even Thriller Bark. So just really, really powerful. This card is incredible because, first of all, it's a 4-cost card. Remember what we just looked at. So imagine with Gecko Moria, you trash Perona for this effect on turn 2, swinging. You swing for 6, and then you plop this card down, and oh, there goes one of the cards from their hand. Very, very powerful, guys. This is potentially very strong. And then later in the game, when it's like, oh, well, later in the game, they might not have 5 cards, so you don't get the effect. Okay, not a big deal. Because number 1, it's still a 5k. And number 2, it's got 2,000 counter baked into it. This card is incredible, guys. Okay, this is the 1-drop I was just talking about. This is Victoria Sindri. I guess that's how you say it. I don't know. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power, 2,000 counter. Another 2,000 counter with a very relevant effect. Listen to this. On play, if your leader has Thriller Bark Pirates type, which of course it will, trash 5 cards from the top of your deck. So if you play this on turn 1, okay, if you play this on turn 1, and then use this effect on turn 2 from the leader, there are going to be 8 cards in your trash. 8 cards. 8. So you will obviously have some type of pick between Lola, Perona, and shoot, even another Victoria Sindri potentially. You know, it depends on what's in your trash. And then there's a few other cards we're going to look at as well. So this card, incredible. It's a 2k counter. So there you go. The first 2 cards we're looking at, other than Lola, right? 2 incredible cards with incredible effects that are also 2k counters. Just awesome start so far, right? Okay, next up is Inupe. I don't know how to say this person's name or this dog's name. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter character. And these are all Thriller Bark, of course, guys. Let me just state that up front. This has an on-play and on-KO. Don't worry about the on-KO just yet, but that will come back into play later. If your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand, obviously. Right? Guys, this... This is a mini Sabo effect, right? Like, it doesn't have the Sabo protection effect, obviously. But draw 2, trash 2 on your 2-cost character. So, in other words, say you go first, but you went, but you're, excuse me, say it's turn 1, but you had to go second. Well, here's your play. This is your play. Because you're going to be able to draw 2 trash to get the cards in your trash you don't need. Awesome card, and it's a 3K. That's not incredible, but that on KO is going to come into play here in a second, guys. Just bear with me, hold tight. Next up, Terrarin, however you say this name. Another 2-cost, 3K, 1000 counter. On play, on KO. Trash the top 3 cards of your deck. And this card is not leader locked, by the way. That is very solid. Okay, let's keep going. Nothing too much to talk about here, but you see the synergy, right, guys? So even if you went second, you're still having a very strong turn 1 play between Inupe and Terrarin, however you say this name. Last but not least, of the 2-cost cards, I think, Cerberus, which is a blocker, a 2-cost, 2000 power, 1K blocker. This is just your standard default 2-cost blocker. But this one is obviously Thriller Bark Pirates. Okay, so this is another card you'll potentially be able to get with your leader's effect if it's in your trash, because, again, you can grab a 4 or less from your trash. So if you need a blocker, well, no worries. You'll actually have one in Cerberus. Okay, next up I want to talk about their stage. Guys, this stage is potentially very powerful. 1-cost stage, okay, activate main, pay 1, rest this stage. If your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type, you may play up to 1 cost 2 or lower Thriller Bark Pirates type character card from your trash rested. Okay, so you're going to be able to grab a Cerberus, which, they'll probably swing into, which, hey, that's fine, that it did its job anyway. Otherwise, you'll get on the next turn. You can grab a Terrarin to trash 3 more cards from the top of your deck. You'll be able to grab an Inupe to draw 2, trash 2. Victorious Sindri, trash the top 5 cards of your deck. There's just so much potential there. And I haven't showed all the cards, by the way. All the cards have not even been spoiled yet, at least not at the time of me recording this video. And there are other options even that are out right now that I have not put in this video. Okay, so these 2-cost or lowers are going to be very accessible. Like there are plenty of options there, strong options. Okay, just a great stage that synergizes perfectly with what the leader's doing. Okay, next up is Gecko Moria. Here's like the big boss of Thriller Bark. The boss character, I'm saying, of course. Gecko Moria on play. Choose up to 1 4-cost or lower and up to 1 cost 2 or lower character cards from your trash. So you're going to grab a 4-cost and a 2-cost or lower. So it could be a 3 and a 2 or a 2 and a 2 or a 4 and a 1, you name it. And then play one of them, then play the remaining one rested. So in other words, you're going to play one untapped, quote unquote, active, and the other one rested. And notice 2 things. Number 1, it's not leader locked, and number 2, it's not card locked. It's not type locked. So you don't have to grab a Thriller Bark Pirates type character. So you can snag a Borsellino, and then, I don't know, whatever other 2 costs, maybe a Searcher, right? Maybe like a brand new, maybe a... Fill in the blank, guys. I mean, honestly, maybe this is a kind of card that could even make CP9 work. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. So, really cool stuff here. Very powerful, by the way. 8 cost, 9,000 power character. Just huge. Huge body here. And it's an 8 cost, which I love the number 8, especially when I'm playing a deck that's black. And everyone knows me, or everyone who knows me knows, I play only black decks. Now, I'll play decks that are black that also splash other colors, like black yellow, black blue, black purple, whatever. But black is like my main color in this game. And this can probably work in any black deck, because this could also go and dress Rosa perfectly, right? You go, okay, with 10, let's just say a 10 Dawn, I'll play Gecko Moria, snag back a Rebecca, which will throw in other cards, and then I still get to play a 2-cost as well from that. It's like from the Gecko Moria's effect. Just incredible potential here, guys. And with all these cards, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, last up here for the cards that I'm showing from OP-06. I think this card's incredible. Maybe I'm crazy. Y'all tell me what y'all think. This card is called Shadows Asgard. It is a 2-cost event. It has main or counter. So you can use this on your main offensively or aggressively, or counter defensively. Your leader gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Then, you may KO any number of your cost 2 or less characters with the Thriller Bark Pirates type. For each KO'd character for each character KO'd this way, sorry, it's kind of worded messed up. For each character KO'd this way, your leader gains plus 1,000 during this turn. Guys, it's during this turn. Do y'all understand? what I'm saying there? Okay, aggressively, y'all obviously understand, right? You just sack your board if you have to and just start smashing in with your characters and getting all of those on KO effects, right? Trash 3 to your deck, draw 2, trash 2, you know, stuff like this. But, where is it? There it is. Think about this defensively, guys. So, again, say you play Gecko Moria with 10 Dawn, where you have 2 Dawn left to use this effect. If they... Guys, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. If you, let's just say with this card right here, let's say you grabbed back a 4 cost and a 2 cost. You could have literally grabbed back a Cerberus for a blocker for the 2 cost, and then a Perona, and had this card tapped, right? So have this card, or Lola, have this card rested from your Gecko Moria's effect, and then have your Cerberus active, so you can use it as a blocker. Now, you ready for this? Like what you can do from here. If there's any other characters on the board, let's just say there's one other character on the board, you know, some other, like a Terrarin or an Anupe, whatever. Then, when they go to attack your character, you can block with your Cerberus, okay, and then counter out KOing your Cerberus, KOing your other characters that you need to, and you could boost your leader by like +3, +4,000 for the rest of the turn. Guys, unless this is a translational error, and if it is, someone please, you know, tell me in the comment section below, you could potentially have like a 9,000 power leader on their turn, right? Or, well, technically it could be even higher than that. If you have like a full board of them, you could have a 10,000 power leader on your opponent's turn. This is potentially very strong. And if I'm not mistaken, someone also correct me if I'm wrong here. If I'm not mistaken, in that example that I just said, using this card's effect here, if I counter with Cerberus, or excuse me, if I block with Cerberus, that attack is gone, right? No matter what happens now, that attack is not going through because I declared a blocker. Then, before damage resolution, or however you say it in this game, I'm going to counter, and I'm going to KO my Cerberus, and whatever other, you know, Terrarins or Anupes I had on the board. Let's just say I had 3 on the board. And I'm going to get plus 4,000 power for the rest of the turn on my leader. Very, very potentially strong here, guys. And by the way, the trigger is draw 2, trash 1. Sorry I didn't put that. The trigger is draw 2, trash 1. So just awesome. Okay, and last but not least, this is just some cards to look at that have synergy with with Thriller Bark Pirates. Sabo, of course, at the very top here. Barrier is probably going to be on at all times with a deck like this. You know, Barrier is just going to be a 1-cost 4K in this deck, I think. It won't be searchable, unfortunately, because I think it's Dressrosa Bardo Club, but still, that's potentially very powerful. Even searchers like Brand New, I got Brand New down here at the bottom left and Rebecca up here at the top right. These searchers, remember, they draw 1 card and then they trash the rest. And in fact, in a deck like this, there will be times where it might just trash 3 cards. But hey, that's fine. That's what we want, because then it interacts perfectly with our leader's effect. And potentially can grab us something like a Sabo, or, you know, you name it. Maybe well, Rebecca can't grab Rebecca, but y'all get the point. It can grab a Barrier, Sabo, and whatever else we want to. Maybe a 2K counter like in Bartolomeo. Okay. Other cards to consider up here at the top right. Truna Bastardo is probably just a 4-cost KO 6 or less in this deck. Same thing. Gum Gum King Kong Gun. This might just be, and you know, it might just always be turned on. Who knows? And if that's the case, maybe there's an argument to run Luffy in a deck like this. I don't know. I have not play tested it. If you guys have, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. And then last but not least, CP, you know, Lucci and Bluno are going to have synergy no matter what in a deck like this, especially if we can fit in enough cost reduction. Lucci might be insane, right? He might just be that guy in this kind of deck. Rebecca as well. I think this card will just have incredible amounts of value because... Remember, with Rebecca, I'm sorry it's not translated on here. In fact, I'll just read it over on my other screen. Okay, and hang on, I'll actually drop this out and bring over Rebecca. Here we go. So here's the card right here. It's a 4-cost 0-power 1K counter blocker. On play, add up to 1 black character card with a cost of 3 to 7, other than Rebecca, from your trash to your hand. Then play up to 1 black character card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Rested. Okay, so that's going to have potential as well. Just awesome stuff, guys. Just really awesome stuff. Okay, let me bring this back to full screen. Okay, so that's about it, guys. That's all I really wanted to talk about. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Are you guys as hyped as I am to try out Gecko Moria? Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. At first, I was a little unimpressed. I was a little, I was unhappy with the direction black was going as a color. And I actually wish that purple had gone this direction with, like, the trash effects. But, you know, it is what it is. Here we are, right? Because when I first saw this leader, Gecko Moria, I was like, oh, man. So you know... We know from Rebecca, or from Dressrosa, we know from CP, we even know, you know, from some extent from the Navy, the way they would trash cards, the Grave is going to be a big interaction piece for the black identity, you know, in this game, in One Piece TCG. But now, after seeing Gecko Moria, this is something I could get more behind, because it's giving us, you know, very legitimate interactions with our trash. This I'm a big fan of, at least. It's not completely my style, but I can still get behind it, right? So, very cool stuff. All right, guys, that's about it. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, peace.